joining me today. In this class, we're going to be doing about a 30-minute yin yoga sequence, and this class theme is geared for people in recovery. And I want to preface this by saying that if you're actively struggling with substance abuse, whether it's alcohol, drugs, food, I strongly suggest that you reach out to a local professional, a 12-step program. Reach out and get some help, because this is rarely a disease that can be handled by oneself. So you can always reach out to me at skytay2.com. You can find my email address and everything there, and I would be happy to talk with anybody who is looking for resources and doesn't know where to go. So with that said, Yoga for Recovery helps us to come into ourselves. Most of our addictions stem from us feeling the need to kind of run away from ourselves, run away from our feelings, needing to numb out, or maybe we are craving something in life. We're craving happiness and joy, and we aren't able to find those within ourselves, and so we reach outside of ourselves and try to fill this void with other things that in moderation may not be that bad, but the nature of addiction is we go into excess and it becomes a major problem. So in this yin yoga class, we're going to get into our breath, we're going to get into our body. You might want a blanket, but that's really the only thing extra that you're going to need for this. We're going to hold the poses for a couple minutes at least each. And this is really going to give us a chance to get into the connective tissues. And one of the sayings is that our issues are in our tissues. So most of us who are in recovery from any kind of addiction have a lot of stuff that we're holding on to. So we're going to try to let some of that go today. So first off, if you have a blanket, you can go ahead and sit it under your sit bones to bring the hips up and help the knees to drop down, so we can sit in a seated position for a longer period of time. So root your sit bones into the ground or into the blanket below you. Close your eyes. Pull your shoulders up to the ears and then roll them down the back. Place the backs of the hands on the knees, palms facing up, signifying to the universe that we're open to guidance and inspiration. Reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, tucking the chin slightly. And just come to your breath. Bring your attention to the sensations in the body on each inhale. And feel the air as it passes through the nostrils on the exhale. Inhale through the nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more round. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and bring your breathing back to a natural pace. We start out by controlling the breath. as a way to calm the central nervous system. And when we can do that, we can start to gain control of the mind that's often all over the place, causing all kinds of problems for us that aren't really problems. Anytime throughout this practice that you find the mind wandering off, just bring your attention back to the breath. Go ahead and gently open your eyes. And the first pose that we'll come into is a low lunge. Call it dragon pose. So come onto all fours. Step your right foot in between the hands. And you may want to scoot the left foot back a bit. You're going to want the right knee on top of the ankle. And you have a couple of choices here. You can bring your hands to your knees and pull your chest up and get a little baby back bend. And if you like, you can bring your hands down to either side of the front foot. We'll be here for a couple minutes, so wherever you're at, just find this place, this soft edge where you can feel sensation, but it's not so much that you can't keep that nice, slow pace of breathing. And the hips are the biggest area in our body that stores stress and tension, even traumas from the past. We can store this memory, this information here. And over time, it can start to create problems in the body, dis-ease. And the CN yoga practice is just one of many ways to start to allow ourselves to let go of these things that are not serving us anymore. And as the body relaxes and some of that tension loosens up, you may find that it feels good to go a little bit deeper into the pose. Maybe you walk the left foot back a bit. Start to shift the hips back and bring the right knee back to meet the left. Bring that left foot to outside of the left hand and coming forward into your low lunge. Bring the hands up to the knee if that's where you were at on the other side. Or bring them back down to the ground, framing the left foot. Just be aware that the two sides are never going to be equal in their flexibility. Whichever side side gets used the most. Tends to have a little bit more area for movement. One of the great things about this practice is we can work on balance, not only mentally, but also physically. And it's all interconnected. When there's mental imbalance, there's physical imbalance. We're learning more and more about the mind-body connection, and that it's a real thing. So allow your attention to come back to your breathing. Let the tension release. Creating peace and balance. On an inhale, push into the front foot, starting to send the hips back. Coming into your tabletop position. Let your left hand onto the mat. Raise your right hand up towards the ceiling. And exhale, threading the needle. Bring the right hand behind the left arm. Laying the back of the hand on the ground. Bringing the head down, resting the right side of the head on the mat. Opening up through the shoulder blades here. If you need a little bit more of a stretch, you can walk the left hand up over the head. Allow the air to fill the lungs, filling up the back. And the shoulders are the second biggest place in the body that stores the stress and the tension. And we often are stressed out and overwhelmed. We'll feel it in our shoulders. We'll feel the weight of the world on our shoulders. Come back to all fours. Make when you're ready, bring the left hand up towards the ceiling. And exhale, threading the needle, bringing the left hand behind the right arm, resting the shoulder and the back of the hand on the ground, bringing the head down, resting the left side of the head on the ground, stretching the right hand up above your head if you need a little bit more of a stretch. And breathe into your body. Notice where you're feeling the opening. Oftentimes, especially people in recovery, deal with so much anxiety and so much stuff going on in the head. We're really not even aware of what's going on in our body. So this practice gives us a chance to really feel into what's going on. Where are we holding tension? What thoughts keep coming up? It really helps us to be aware of what we can work on to improve our lives, to improve our quality of recovery. If the right hand is over the head, bring it back in front of the face. Push into the right hand and come back onto all fours. And we'll go into the hips a bit. Come onto your bottom. And we're going to stack one shin on top of the other. In the Yang practice, it's called fire log pose. But you're just going to bring your left shin in front of you, making like a 7 with the leg, and then you're going to take the right foot, stack it on top of the left knee, and the right knee is on top of the left foot. Now, you may have some space in between the knee and the foot, and that's okay, that's no big deal. The main thing is sensation in this practice. So you just want to be feeling something through the right hip. And keeping the right foot active as you come into this position will help to protect that knee joint. Inhale, get some length in the spine, and this might be as far as you need to go. But if you want to go a little further into that hip stretch, you can bring your hands in front of you, walk them forward as far as you comfortably can. Find the soft edge. And that point where it's not too little, it's not too much, but it's just right. Moderation, something that a lot of us don't really know anything about. It has taken me years to figure this moderation thing out. With food, with my yoga practice. Once you've found that soft edge and you have breathed into into it for a minute, you might find that the muscles have released enough that you can come a little farther. Maybe you can bring your forearms down to the ground. Inhale, walking the hands back, coming back upright. Feeling that whoosh of energy coming back into the right hip and the right leg as you slowly release. And bring the right shin to the bottom, keeping the foot active for now and flexing the left foot as well as you bring it on top of the right knee. And finding your position here with one shin stacked on top of the other. Inhale, raise the chest up, reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And if this is as far as you want to go, just breathe into the hips. And if you want to go a little deeper, start to walk your hands forward. Remembering moderation. And as the mind calms down and as the body relaxes, maybe you want to walk your hands out a little further. Maybe you can even bring the forearms to the ground. Notice if you're holding on to tension in the body, if you're squeezing the facial muscles. Let everything go and just let the gravity do the work for you. And on an inhale, walk your hands back, coming back upright. And release the position of the legs. And bring the legs out long on your mat. Just shake them out, get the blood moving. And I'm going to use a blanket for my Shavasana. We are going into the final resting pose. So make sure you're nice and comfy and cozy. And just lay out on the ground or on the mat. Bring your feet about mat's distance apart. Feet flopping open. Let the back back so the hands rest on the mat beside you. The palms are facing up. Bring the shoulder blades together, opening up the chest. Creating evenness on all the contact points. Just let everything go, allowing the body to integrate to all the work that you just did. Allowing time for some space in between the thoughts. Let go of everything that's on your to-do list. Bring some movement back into the body, just wiggling the fingers and the toes. Roll over onto your right side. Coming into a little fetal position, resting the head on the lower arm. And slowly bring yourself up to a seated position, keeping the eyes closed. Don't open them yet. Come into your cross-legged position. Bring the hands in front of the heart center into prayer. Taking a moment of quiet gratitude. Gratitude for recovery. Gratitude for all of the teachings, all of the tools available to us to bring us back into a state of wholeness. No matter what we're recovering from, I like to say that we're recovering wholeness. Coming back to a whole and complete being, mind, body, and spirit. Letting go of the need for outside things to bring us peace and contentment. Coming back to that place of the deep, divine inner knowing that we have everything that we need right within us. All the answers. Sometimes we just have to clear away the mental junk. So thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.